Jasmine and I decided to get up early-ish to watch the sunrise over the Toronto city skyline this morning. I'm afraid we might be missing the best of it. We might have missed the best of the sunrise, but we definitely didn't miss all of it. Look at that. So a while ago, way back in the spring, I set a goal for myself. 21.1 kilometers. That's how far a half marathon is. That's how far I plan to run tomorrow. I kind of set a series of goals. One, I wanted to register for the half marathon. Did that. Two, I wanted to finish the half marathon. And I'm pretty confident that unless something goes really wrong, I'll be able to do that. 3, I wanted to beat my time from 2 years ago. And 4, I want to beat my time by 10 minutes. Alright, it is 7:35 and we're heading to Roland and Joy's place. We're going to spend the night there, so that we have a 5-minute drive to the race tomorrow morning instead of an hour and a half. Seems smart, doesn't it? It's early. Everyone in Hawksville is asleep. Yeah, actually, literally, everyone else in Hawksville is sleeping. It's race day.
Hi.
Half marathon, Ricky Martin.
That's awesome. I'm sure you're sick of hearing why that's funny. Yes, I have.
So everything you've watched up until this point I filmed before the race, obviously. And I was hoping that the race would go really well for me, because I was planning on making this video about goals, so then at the end of the video I could say, yeah, set high goals and go out and get it or something like that. But as you may have guessed by now by the thumbnail and the title of this video, the race didn't exactly go as expected. I mentioned that I was trying to beat my time from 2 years ago, which meant I had to run at an average pace of 5 minutes and 14 seconds per kilometer or less. Roland and I decided to start the race together, and we did the first kilometer at about 5:22. The second kilometer was a little faster. After 3 kilometers we had picked up the pace a bit. We were at about an average of 5:15 or so, and we were feeling pretty good. And after about 5 or 6 kilometers, we were still at about a 5:15 pace, but I was starting to wonder if I could keep this up for the whole race. Like, I was starting to get a little bit tired. The heat was already getting to me at this point. This was 6 kilometers in, so not even a third of the way through the course. By the time we got to the halfway point of the race, I was already starting to slow down, and I knew that there was no way I was going to be able to beat my time. So I actually told Roland, I said, you know, you go ahead, you try to beat your time or whatever. I'm going to slow down a bit. I was starting to get a bit of a cramp. So I slowed down, he went on ahead, but I didn't get too far behind. And by the time we got to the next drink station, he had slowed down to walk for a bit, so I caught up to him. And at this point, this was probably about kilometer 12 or so, we decided that, you know, since we weren't going to be breaking any records or anything, that we would finish the race together. So we ran together for a while. After a couple kilometers, decided to walk for a while, and then we kind of kept up that pattern of running for a bit, walking for a bit, running for a bit, walking for a bit. The whole time I was getting more and more tired. I just wanted this race to be done at this point. Slowly but surely, we got to kilometer 15, 16, 17, and we were still walking, running. And I told Roland somewhere before we hit kilometer 18, I said something like, you know, we've been training all summer for this one event. So, you know, when we get to kilometer 18, let's just start running and let's run this whole thing out. Let's not stop until we get to that finish line. And he agreed. He said, all right, let's do it. Now here's the scary part. I barely remember any of the race after that. The last 3 kilometers of the race are pretty much just a blur. I have like bits and pieces here and there. I sort of remember choosing to run on the very edge of the gravel shoulder of the road instead of on the paved part of the road. I sort of remember coming into St. Clement's. I vaguely remember when there's just about 50 meters left in the race telling Roland to go ahead and finish. One of the last things I remember of the race is looking at the time and seeing that it was just over 2 hours. But I have no memory of crossing the finish line. But apparently I did, because there's a video.
Thank you.
Everything that happened for the next hour is pretty much a blur.
Yeah, you want to sit on the bench over here in the shade? Yeah. Come to the shade.
Here, Gatorade.
I remember being super dizzy, trying to walk over to the bench. People were helping me, they sat me down. They kept asking me questions. They were like, do you want Gatorade? I said, yes, I want Gatorade. I kept drinking Gatorade. I think I ate a couple grapes. I was trying to make this dizziness go away, but it just would not go away. I remember this vague thought that I'd done something really stupid, like it was like I knew in my mind that I'd pushed myself too hard, and yet I couldn't remember actually doing it. I couldn't remember the last 3 kilometers of the race. Finally, I heard someone mention an ambulance. They did end up calling the ambulance for me. After a while, the dizziness finally went away, and I thought it was getting better. And after that, I started to feel really, really bad. I started to feel my heart racing. I felt myself getting weaker and weaker. It seemed like there was this blackness that was just like fading in. It was just all I could do to stay conscious. Eventually, the ambulance showed up and they carted me off on a stretcher. And by the time I actually got on the stretcher, I was starting to feel a little bit better, still really weak. Couldn't remember my postal code, but everything else I could remember pretty well. And they put some intravenous in me and took me to the hospital. I was there for a few hours. They did some tests. Basically made sure I was okay. And they eventually let me go, and they told me to drink lots of fluids and to take it easy for a few days. So yeah, that's pretty much the end of the story. I had to go through a lot to get this medal. And I guess this is the part of the video where I was going to talk about how you should make goals and be ambitious and push yourself and get her done or something like that. But yeah, since it didn't really go as planned, I guess this is the part where I say, don't be stupid. There's one thing that I hope to take away from this, and that's that the whole time that I was sitting on that picnic table bench and people were there with me, holding an ice pack on me, pouring water over my wrists, helping me, I was feeling really bad because I felt like I had done something really stupid to get to this point. It could have been very easily avoided. I mean, it was my choice to run in the first place. It was my choice to keep pushing myself. But the people helping me never questioned why I needed help or if it could have been avoided if I was stupid. They were just helping me. They were just doing their job. And I think I can apply that to life and just helping people in general. I don't need to know why they need help. I don't need to judge if they did something stupid to need help. If they need help, help them. Anyway, thanks for listening. Oh, hey, if you want to see a really great real-life example of Proverbs 16:18, pride goeth before destruction, should watch this video that I made last week and then watch this video you just watched again. Oh yeah, and you should subscribe too. Please.